Welcome back, Spokane, to another episode of EvoReal Talks. I'm your host, Matt Side.
And I'm Jessica Side.
How are you, Jess?
I'm really, really good right now, actually.
Yeah, I know exactly why.
I know, you know why. Why?
Because it's snowing outside.
It is. So we're recording this on Friday, and you're hearing it on Saturday or beyond. And so we've got all of our windows open.
Not like physically open.
Right,
the
right.
shades
all the
are
shades are
up.
up. What do they call that in the night
Blinds?
before Christmas? Throw open the shutter and throw up the sash.
Yeah, the sashes are up.
The sashes have been thrown, and it is beautiful outside. This just is such a, this makes me feel so happy inside.
Hopefully, while people are listening to this on Saturday, I am snowshoeing with my sister on Mount Spokane.
Oh.
That is the plan, and with all of this fresh snow, I'm sure I can make it a priority to get up there.
That is fantastic.
Another reason why people love to live in Spokane, because within 40 minutes of my home, I will be on trails with fresh snow.
That is fantastic.
So
I love it.
I have some breaking news for you and all of our listeners.
Okay.
This is...
We don't do that usually.
No.
Breaking news?
Literally, this came out yesterday, so Thursday, the 10th of December.
I'm ready.
The National Association of Realtors identified the top 10 markets that have shown resilience during this pandemic period and that are expected to perform well in a post-COVID-19 environment. And Spokane, Washington made the top 10.
Yes.
If there is a applause track, we should do that right now.
I think that'll work.
I'm sure it will kind of work.
I'm sure it will.
So that is huge.
Yeah.
Of all metropolitan markets in the United States of America, Spokane is in the top 10. Let me just read to you the 8. So basically, these are the indicators that this NAR deemed influential to a metro area's recovery and growth prospects in a post-pandemic environment in 2021 and 2022.
Before you do that, I just have to tell everybody what's really cute right now is that he's holding it like his paper like this because he doesn't want me to see it because it truly is breaking news and it's like, I like it. Go ahead.
I am kind of hiding it.
You are hiding
it. Was totally subconscious. All right, number 1. So these are the indicators as to what they would identify will be influential in recovery and growth prospects in 2021 and 2022.
Okay.
So number 1 was the fraction of the workforce working from home based on statistics from 2019. Like what percentage of that population already works from home?
Okay.
Share of multi-generational households.
Okay.
From 2019.
So these would be positive things, right?
Net domestic migration into a metro area from 2019. So people have already been moving into this area. Movers from expensive West Coast areas moving into another metro area from 2019 statistics. The unemployment rate based on September of 2020.
Okay.
Number 6, share of workers in retail trade, leisure, and hospitality industry based on 2019.
Okay.
So these are just indicators that what percentage. So I would assume that a low percentage of your population in that category would be positive. Number 7, small business openings relative to January 2020 based on November 2020 data. So how many small businesses are opening in November of 2020 versus January of that same year. And then number 8 was mobility to retail and recreation places relative to January 2020 based on November data.
Okay.
So what they did not do actually, and there is part of the report actually like shows what all of these stats are, and I'm not going to bore the radio listeners with that. But if you go to the National Association of Realtors, I'm sure shortly that will be published. But let's just go through the top 10 markets.
Okay.
So you can see who Spokane has what group we're with here.
Perfect. And this is just a technical thing. He needs to move more into camera. So I'm just going to, there you go.
Because all of our radio
I know, radio
care.
show. I'm sorry. That's okay.
If we only had a support staff that could be on site with us to run the cameras. They'd be giving
you directions and
audio. All right, so top 10 markets.
Okay.
During and in a post-COVID-19 environment. This is not in any specific order. They did not rank them 1 through 10. They basically said in alphabetical order, and they kind of listed them that way. I'm looking at a map of the United States, and we'll just read it off that way.
Okay.
So Atlanta, Sandy Springs, Alpharetta, Georgia, that market.
Okay.
The Charleston, North Charleston, South Carolina market. Indianapolis, Carmel, Anderson, Indiana. And again, like ours is Spokane Valley, right?
Ah.
It's the whole market.
Spokane and Spokane Valley.
Yes.
Okay.
It's the market. So when I'm saying these names, these are all different towns within the market. Madison, Wisconsin. Des Moines, West Des Moines, Iowa. Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington, Texas. Phoenix, Mesa, Chandler, Arizona. So the Phoenix metro area. Provo, Orem, Utah. Boise City, Idaho. And then, of course, Spokane Valley. So,
which actually jives with other things that we've seen as far as like Boise and Spokane.
Well, part of the reason that Boise and Spokane are in the current was because of its strength prior to COVID-19.
Yes, and just the migration there and all kinds of things.
So you've got migration already happening. You've got percentages. So this is the quick write-up on the Spokane Valley market from the NAR in their report. So Spokane metro area stands out as having the highest fraction of its movers from West Coast areas, accounting for 23.8% of people who moved into the area in 2018. That's a huge number.
Yes, it is.
In terms of number of movers, it's the third most attractive destination for West Coast movers, following Phoenix and Dallas. A high fraction of the workforce work from home at 7.2%. Among the top 10...
That's interesting that's high.
Yeah, as far as a percent, that's almost 10% of the population working from home. That's a pretty
interesting.
Significant number.
And that's
that number I think was 2019.
Right,
was where they were using that number. Among the top 10 metro areas, it currently has the highest unemployment rate of 8.6%. So that would be a negative for us. But it stands to benefit from increased out-migration from expensive West Coast metro areas.
Yeah.
So,
we've talked about that for
sure.
I
mean, if you go back to our shows from early 2020, those are the same basic reasons that Spokane's market has been so strong over the last 5+ years.
Right.
And would be a strong indicator as to why the market will continue to be strong into 2021 and 2022.
Okay, that's interesting.
So, anyway, there's the breaking news.
Wonderful. Is it my turn to
Go
talk
for
about
it. What do you got?
So
for us
I
today?
actually have a neighborhood that I would like to highlight.
You want to do some neighborhood history?
I do want to do some neighborhood history.
Washington's neighborhood history?
That's right. So I want to talk about West Central. And I know that when we think of West Central, we think of Kendall.
We as in the people that have lived here their whole life?
I think we as in most people in Spokane, if they know what West Central is, they're going to think of Kendall Yards.
Okay.
And I don't really want to focus on Kendall Yards. I understand that it's part of it, but I think that is a story unto itself. So I want to just talk about more what we would consider West Central
Kendall Yards?
Yeah, exactly. Right. So in 1887.
That was definitely pre-Kendall Yards.
That's correct. The Spokane Falls Review wrote this about the area. This high, level plain slopes gently on both sides to the riverbank. From every portion, a view of the city and the surrounding country can be obtained. It's a great synopsis of how amazing that area is. So let's talk about its borders.
Okay.
The Spokane River is actually its south and its west border because it curves around right there. And then Indiana to the north and Monroe to the east.
Wow, it goes all the way to Indiana. That's quite a ways north in my mind.
Yeah, I mean, it's not too far, but yeah, Indiana and then Monroe, which I usually think of it more like Maple. But it heads over all the way into Monroe. So so you have Colonel Jenkins. Anyway, Colonel Jenkins was
Isn't that
first.
Leroy's last name
That's
too?
right, Leroy.
Leroy Jenkins.
Anyway,
look that up on Google if you don't know what we're talking about.
Leroy Jenkins. So Colonel Jenkins was the first to homestead the area in 1879, and it was a wilderness that was only reached by a ferry. So you had to take a ferry across the river in order to get there because there was no Monroe Street Bridge or Maple Street Bridge.
So to get to the north side of the river, I'm sorry, did you call it a wilderness?
Yeah, it was a wilderness, only reached by a simple ferry. The other people that were involved in the development of the area were visionaries like William Pettit, Hiram Muzzy, not exactly sure how to say that, Colonel Jenkins, and then the Nettleton family. So William Pettit was considered a pioneer, a civic leader, and a real estate promoter. So he arrived in 1883, and he put considerable real estate investment into the area.
And eventually had a name or a road named after him, Pettit Drive.
That is correct. Thank you very much.
Did I steal your thunder?
No. Actually, I wasn't even going to talk about that, but Pettit does come up later, but I didn't reference Mr. William. So Hiram Muzzy or Muzzy came in.
I think we can safely agree it's Muzzy.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay, Muzzy. In 1880, he came to the area. 8 years later, he earned his homestead patent, which I didn't realize they were called homestead patents. And he got 160 acres.
He did? That is super generous of the United States
yes,
government.
Yes, it was. So he got 160 acres that he then turned into 500 city lots.
Wow.
And
how did he earn that?
I see that is true.
No, I'm not actually trying to know.
I don't know.
That's the way it's phrased.
I did not go into the history of this particular person, but I do know that he was what we would consider a wholesaler because he didn't then sell it to the final user. He actually sold it to local developers.
Oh,
so he kind of platted it out and got it ready, put it into lots, and then sold it to those people. In 1887, William Nettleton bought 278 acres at $100 an acre. And they just started, again, these are all the people that kind of developed that area.
Those are additions, and like if you look on legal descriptions,
well, and Nettleton,
the Nettleton's
of course.
Edition or whatever it's called.
Correct. So in 1909, the West Central neighborhood was really booming. So, it's been around for quite a long time. And as that became kind of the newest suburb of Spokane, you also had businesses that came into the area. So, you've got those little shops around, and we'll talk about a few of those places. But as you reflect on this era of home, when you go drive the streets of West Central, you're going to find Queen Anne Victorian, craftsman, bungalows, cottage, and you kind of have, so it's not cookie cutter at all. It's very much like, and they were, it's different than like when you drive around the South Hill and you see these big mansions, right?
Sure.
You're like, oh, that's where one of those mining barons lived, and that's where his, whatever it is. They've got these huge houses. They were much smaller, so it was much more of the kind of burgeoning middle class in Spokane. And along with those businesses, I have a little bit of personal history because my grandparents owned a store on Boone.
Right. Actually, I think we've talked about this.
A little bit,
briefly.
yeah. So my grandparents, this would be my grandma Gertrude and my grandpa Carl, while he was going to Gonzaga Law School, owned a little shop. And I'm sorry, I don't know the street name. I wasn't able to go there while I was doing this.
It's on basically on Boone, isn't it?
It is on Boone. I just don't know the cross street. The building is still there. It doesn't look too fantastic, but they lived behind it. So they had the shop in the front and they lived behind it. It was just like a little mom and pop, like everything kind of sort. And this would have been in the early to mid 40s. So, quite a bit after things had developed and things like that. And in the late 1800s, early 1900s, we've talked about this before, how important this piece of it was. The Northern Pacific Railroad and the Union Pacific Railroad built routes through the neighborhood. So super important to be able to develop and to be able to import things there.
Export,
and people and
stuff.
Yeah.
Stuff and
so
people.
Now that was abandoned in the 1970s. Now let's talk about, and we, again, everything intertwines in Spokane because it's not too huge of a place, but there was an amusement park that was located at the western terminus of those railroad stations, okay? And that was on the Boone Railroad, or the rail line.
Okay.
So first known in 1889 as Ingersoll's Park, and then later it was called Twickenham. I don't know why these names are so hard for me. Twickenham Park. And it featured at that time.
Maybe because they are super weird
They
names.
are.
Twickenham?
Twickenham.
Okay,
Anyway,
moving on.
So it featured, I love this because this is the first time I've read this piece, is that it featured a 40-piece band. Like, I'm just thinking, like, is this a band that was there 24/7? Or was it there just on the weekends?
It's like a big band kind of a thing.
Yeah.
40-piece band.
I'm just curious. Like, that was one of the big draws of that. I'm just curious.
They changed 40-piece band to big band in
I want to know.
80s.
I want to know. Oh, my Lord. He has no idea what he's talking about. I want to know what their schedule was. I just find that to be fascinating that was one of the draws of that area.
Perhaps you can find an old schedule somewhere. Maybe in the Mac Museum. Maybe they have something there.
So in 1893, the Spokane Street Railway which was a part of Washington Water Power, bought the whole park and expanded it to what they call a Coney Island idea. And that became, of course, Natatorium Park.
Or referred to as Nat Park.
That's correct. And of course, it was named after the pool that was built there, because that was the name of the pool. And it was a huge recreation destination. But really, it was just right there on the west end of
we've talked about Natatorium Park a ton in past episodes.
Yeah. So in addition to these kinds of things, there's also wonderful nature parks and trails. You have the Hamblin Conservation Area. You have Highbridge Park. AM Cannon Park, which I didn't realize that there was a Cannon Hill Park and an AM Cannon Park located on Maxwell.
I have confused that because I have shown up for softball games at Cannon Hill Park when it was at Cannon Park, and I ought to have known that there isn't a good softball field at Cannon Hill.
That is correct. So it was established in 1912, and it had playground equipment, baseball, tennis courts, sandboxes, a wading pool. In 1929, it had a larger pool, and it was a very important park. Now, of course, we have a basketball court there, picnic shelters, and a wonderful water park. It's a great park.
Yeah, it's a great.
Yeah, park. And it is right there where Maxwell turns into Pettit.
Oh, all right.
Ta-da-da.
Thank you for bringing it all around.
You are welcome. And of course, another thing that is part of the West Central area is the Spokane County Courthouse complex, which the main building is really some architecture to be very, very proud of. It is a beautiful building. Yeah, I just absolutely love it. And the grounds and everything around there. You have the West Central Community Center, a Native American community center. And the West Central Community Center, I read this recently, they have a 24/7 Spokane Public Library kiosk with over 300 books and DVDs. It is it's like something that you would find in Japan, because it's like a huge window and all these books.
It's like a red box for books?
Yes. And you put it in there, whatever that does. Like that's the sound of it, I'm pretty sure. And I thought
somebody just turned off their radio when you did that.
I know. I'm sorry.
Like, what am I listening to?
So anyway, in that area, you have just block after block of tightly built houses. They don't exactly have a lot of land per house, but again, it was built for the masses. It was built for people, normal people that worked, in the area. And I think it's quite lovely. I think you cannot not talk about Doyle's ice cream shop, because it is
still very much like anybody that lives down in that neighborhood.
You know when it was established? 1939, probably around the same time my grandparents were running their shop.
Competitors.
They might have been, or maybe they just sent the kids over there to get ice cream. I don't know. My dad was born after they moved out of there, so I was trying to get stories from him. I got to get some stories from my aunt Gretchen. I have questions for you. I just want to say that I was thinking about the views. Let's go back to the very beginning. Let's loop this around to the views. And on the south side of the river, you have views. But you know who gets to see those views? Only the people that live in those condos, right? So I'm talking about the south side of the river.
Like Brown's Addition.
Brown's Addition, right? It's lined with houses that, frankly, someone driving by can't see the views. I love the fact that Kendall Yards, and we're not going to get into it completely, but that you have that Centennial Trail where anybody can go and see those views. And so they've built everything back off of that. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool thing when you think about the other side and the development there versus that side. And, like my sister and I to do something for her birthday, went down there and we were able to walk along the Centennial Trail. That's pretty cool. Yeah. So I think that is a wonderful thing. And I have to say, in 1911 is when we finally built the bridge, Monroe Bridge, to be able to conveniently get across to that area.
That made it a lot easier to go to Kendall Yards.
Yes, it did.
It would have been a day trip to go across the ferry.
So there you go.
West Central really is a revitalization story in Spokane.
It absolutely is.
Absolutely exploded. And its location to the central hub of downtown.
Totally.
kind of the way of
And Kendall Yards
cities.
is certainly part of that story. It's just a story that I'd like to tell on a different day.
A different day. Well, we do actually have a featured home in that area.
Let's talk about it.
2017 West Dean, and we didn't know that it was going to rhyme until right then at that moment. Sorry, this is the one that got away. It was on the market available for 3 days, and it was listed at $285,000, a restored Victoria farmhouse.
And the reason why we even bring it up is, number one, it's in this area.
Yeah, if it's the neighborhood. And you really should go to our Facebook page and check it out because it's a really cool
It's neat that someone, just someone like bringing that thing back to life is pretty cool.
It was a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house, 1,644 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Again, at that price point, totally redone, sandwiched between Boone and Broadway, right there. So anyway, it's check it out and just know that that's the one that got away.
Yeah. Well, and if you have any questions about houses that are listed, and if you're looking for
upcoming, I mean, if you're interested in that neighborhood, reach out to us because the people that got that were watching.
Yes,
they were ready, and
That's
they
right.
pulled the trigger at the right time. So
you can reach us at 509-62-HOUSE.
Well, I have a game for you, Jessica.
Super excited.
It's
about
a real
this.
estate
I know
game.
that there's a game coming, and so I'm very pumped about the situation.
This game is called
Okay.
How Well You Know Spokane Real Estate.
Now I'm very concerned. I mean, I do know it.
I thought you were concerned about the name being not that interesting.
Well, it's not.
It
very
isn't.
Interesting.
So here's what I did.
Okay.
I gathered information from the large market areas within Spokane. So North Spokane, South Spokane, the Valley, West Plains.
Okay.
Outside Metro North. So like the way north. Outside Metro South.
Okay.
And then of course downtown.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is so those are your categories.
Okay, I got it.
The answers to these questions will be one of those areas.
Okay.
And I'll list some questions
I'm
for
familiar.
you and see
I'm
what
familiar.
you got. All right.
These are coded within our MLS, so I'm familiar with these areas.
Okay, so question number 1, Jessica.
Okay.
Which of those areas has the highest median sold price? And this is based on the last 6 months.
Okay.
I'm
going to talk it through. You should hide it.
Don't talk it through too long. We're going to run out of time.
Here's the thing. I think it's between the South Hill and the Valley. I did this research a few years ago, and I was surprised by the fact that actually the Valley had the highest median sold price.
Yes, median.
I'm going to say Valley.
All right. And the answer is outside Metro North.
Really?
$400,000 is the median
and that would include places like Wandermere, I'm assuming?
No, because that would be Metro North. So it would be further out than that.
Further out.
Here's the thing. With zero filters, you're going to have property. And so all of those things
we have zero filters.
It's just the area.
I still probably would have gotten it wrong.
Well, I mean, not
cool.
zero filters.
Way to
it's
go.
not empty land. It's going to be a
house.
Single-family home or condo.
Okay.
Categories.
So what is it? 400,000?
400,000. So just for your own information, the South Hill is 369,000 and the Valley is 350,000, and those were very close.
Interesting.
Those are like number 2 and 3.
Okay. So. All right. What's my next question?
All right. Highest currently active listing. So the highest dollar currently active listing.
Highest dollar currently active listing. I'm going to say South Hill.
South Hill is not correct.
Dang it.
It is West Plains. $5,700,000.
What?
You're going to have,
I want to go to there.
Yeah, we should post that on our Facebook too.
5 million. We will. We actually will post that.
Okay, next question, Jessica.
Okay.
Highest median active list price. So of the active listings on the MLS, what area has the highest median active price?
I mean, it would seem like it would be out just because the other one was in. I mean, in that.
All right. Well,
wait.
What's your answer?
Wait. Oh.
I'm not going to let you wait too long.
I know. I'm going to say then Metro North.
Outside Metro North. You're correct.
Whew. Okay.
595,000 is the active list price right now. Median active list price.
Median active list price?
Almost 600,000.
Okay.
West Plains was a close second, just so you know.
Okay.
All right. Ready. Lowest active months of inventory.
I am going to say that is going to be Shadle.
So north.
North, yes. Like that basic area.
That is incorrect. Wow, you've got you got one right. You've got one right.
I got something right. That's okay.
The West Plains has 0.3 months of inventory. That equates to 9 days.
And maybe that's partly because they have fewer houses also?
No, because you have to look. It's based on inventory, right? So yes, they have fewer homes that sell in general, but they also only have 17 active listings or something like that.
All right.
9 days of inventory on the West Plains. All right.
9 days of inventory.
Highest active months of inventory. So what area has the highest number of months of inventory that's actively on the market?
I am going to say the South Hill.
South Hill.
Yes.
Final answer. It's your final answer.
I have to lock it in? Okay, lock it in.
Highest active months of inventory is downtown.
Oh, I should have known that.
Yeah, you should have known that.
I should. If I had given me just a tiny bit, I kind of forgot about downtown.
1.8 months of inventory.
Yeah, because it's a lot harder to sell downtown. It's those condos do not fly off the shelf. I've noticed that. Okay. Let me just say, can I say something?
You sure can.
About my gaming. About gaming in general. Those of you who don't know, I love gaming. If you haven't watched any of my videos on top 10 games, you can go do that.
This is a good time of year to watch those videos.
It is. My first one and my second one. Yeah. I tell people all the time, I do like to win, but I really like playing even more than I like to win. So don't feel bad for me. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Bring me my next question.
All right. So I'm going to shift it up a little bit because I do not want you to have clues too often. All right. Most sold in the last 12 months. What area has had the most sold in the last 12 months?
I'm going to say North.
North, Spokane.
Yes.
Final answer.
Yep.
You are correct.
Yes.
3,546 sales in the last 12 months. That's a pretty big number.
It's not only is it affordable, but the houses are, because there's more houses in that area, you get more things flying off the shelf. So.
All right.
I got that.
2 questions.
Okay.
Highest number of days on market.
Oh, downtown.
Yeah, that was easy. That's why I moved it, because I knew it would have given it away. All right, last question. Okay. Lowest number of days on market.
I'm going to say the same thing. I think it's North.
Jessica,
for its affordability.
You are correct.
Yes.
You want to know the number of days on market? Median?
Yes.
4.
Woo-hoo-hoo. Congratulations, North.
That is crazy.
All of you.
Crazy.
Every
town.
part of North.
All right. Well,
thank you.
Congratulations. Good job. We'll post this on our Facebook page.
I got 4 out of 10. I should have gotten 5 out of 10. I should have gotten 50%.
You got 50%. Yeah, you got 4 out of 8.
So I got 4 out of 8. I should have gotten 6 out of 8 because I should have.
If you would have thought downtown, you should have. Yeah.
Yes. Sorry about that.
We should wrap our show today with what's going on in Spokane.
Okay, let's do it.
It's kind of a repeat of last week, but I want to remind everyone that we have the Trail of Lights currently in Riverfront Park. We have yet to go do that as a family, but we heard from our friends at Atticus, which is just right as you go into Riverfront Park.
Can I just say, when he says friends at Atticus, he just means the people that we talked to the other night when we were masked shoppers getting some stuff there. So that's great that you think of them as friends already.
Absolutely. They're such a friendly crowd there.
They are.
They said it was pretty amazing. Also, the drive-through holiday light show starts tonight, which is Friday. So if you're listening to this, it is happening this weekend. So December 11th through December 20th, Manitou Park.
Oh, okay.
The light show in Manitou Park.
Okay. And I know some other places I'm going to...
4:30 to 9:30 Friday and Saturday. And then Sunday through Thursday is 4:30 to 8:30. So
perfect.
Get out there and check it out. And I think that's actually all the time we have.
That's all the time we have. Thank you so much for being here. If you need anything, come to our Facebook page. Call us at 509-62-HOUSE. Other than that, we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.